Good afternoon. Welcome to this week's episode of Safety Culture Solutions, brought to you by Safety Culture Strategies. Do me a favor, make sure to like and share it and join us and subscribe. That way we spread the word that much better. Each week we have the amazing opportunity to meet some of the best with us in studio, sometimes remotely with everything going on, and sharing experiences, insights on what can make a dramatic difference in enhancing your positive safety culture. This week, we are absolutely thrilled to have Terry Schulte with us from NuStar Energy. Terry got involved in safety since 1983 when he was responsible for implementing OSHA standards for the Air Force. He currently holds a safety management specialist certification and continues to apply his many years of experience designing and implementing safety management systems. Terry brings a unique perspective gained from being an hourly employee safety champion to safety supervisor to safety manager, culminating with his current role as VPP Director at NuStar Energy. Terry has been involved with VPP or the Voluntary Protection Program since 2000. Terry was appointed to the VPPA Regional 9 Board of Directors in 2006 and elected to Chairperson in 2008. Subsequently, he joined the National VPPA, try to say that 5 times, Board of Directors as Director at Large in 2013, and has held other board positions leading up to now serving as the VPPPA Champion. Terry has mentored numerous sites to VPP certification, including Cintas, Raytheon, Honeywell, Conoco Phillips 66, Dow Chemical, and Travis Air Force Base. Terry also contributes to the community, participating in multiple nonprofit special needs organizations, as well as the Walk-Up Honor for local veterans. And speaking of honor, Terry, it is an honor to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for joining us. How you doing, sir?
We are well, and I am very pleased to be here with you, Mike. And I, first and foremost, just want to say what a pleasure it is to see how you've grown and expanded over the years. And so we have a very long-term relationship, and I couldn't be more proud of you, my friend. So glad to see what all you're doing to help further the message of safety across the country, for sure.
Well, thank you, brother. Very kind words. So everybody heads up, we're going to be talking about our safety culture because that's kind of the title of the show. But we're also going to spend a lot of time, we'll have a commercial break about halfway through this. We're going to talk what goes on in the world of VPP or Voluntary Protection Program. Because I'm going to be candid, some practitioners of safety, I won't mention names, even where they're located, they kind of poo-poo or discount what VPP can bring to the dance. I hear horror stories, it's going to cost, $3 million, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to kind of clarify some little truth fact checking today, if you will. But to kind of get us aimed the right direction, Terry, what do you view as one key ingredient for senior management to ensure that they have a positive, or to assist with a positive safety culture?
So with VPP, as for those who don't know, it is a employee-driven or labor-ran process. So the biggest thing I could tell a senior leader or senior executive is support the labor persons who are running that process at your site. Sometimes we use a car and a driver analogy that our VP of HSE will use at our company. And he uses an analogy of you can have the best car, you could be a brand new car, driving down a road, perfect day, road conditions are great. But if the employee doesn't have the training, hasn't had a good night's sleep, is just not going through a good time in their life, then maybe them driving that car, they may not drive it effectively. So as leaders of the company, you really need to make sure that you're giving the employees all the tools they need, right? And you can't be afraid to give the keys of the car to the employees, right? You need to give it to them, support them, and so that's really what from a senior management standpoint it's about.
So great answer as usual. I want to touch quickly on NuStar because when you look at your company website, you guys have a whole section on VPP. So obviously, Terry, and I think a lot of this reflects on your passion as well. Your senior team really embraces VPP.
Yes, they do, and I'm very fortunate to work for NuStar and what they do. It's interesting. VPP is really the guiding principle. It's really what is the driving force for our safety and health management systems at NuStar. It touches on everything we do, um, and it really starts with the employees. So, as a tenant of VPP, as we just talked to, we talk a lot about sharing is caring. So if you want to care for your fellow coworkers, your fellow uh, facilities, you really need to get involved with VPP. And I think a lot of times when we get into these processes of safety, we tend to overlook the real reasons or the caring and sharing aspect of it. And so that's really where we look at it as a personal commitment for VPP, and that's at every level of our organization, from our CEO, and we use a reverse order, so the CEO is at the bottom and the employees at the top. So
Really?
yeah, so we use
Wow.
that kind of organizational structure. So through a servant leadership model with VPP as our structure for that.
Wow. So personally for you, Terry, what led you or significant events prior in your career that, again, just VPPs in your DNA, it is truly your passion. What kind of
Yeah,
led you down that path?
and I'm a little ashamed to admit this, but early on in my working career, I will say I was not, and well, for starters, I was not aware of programs like VPP.
Sure.
And as an hourly employee, I kind of looked and particularly in my early years of as a contractor, it was about kind of the get her done mentality a little bit, if you will. And so, really, through those years as a contractor, and then started with a refining company, and got introduced to VPP, I began to realize that some of the earlier programs and things that were kind of out of the box or canned programs, that VPP was really different. It was really tailored to each site, to each even individual work groups within sites. And so kind of got the bug through there and started working on it. It took a little convincing from some folks, but I got the bug and I've been working it ever since. And to me, it's a program that works. It really does save lives. It really does protect your coworkers, and it's a novel concept of letting the employees who have the greatest risk from the work own their own safety. Now you have to
Wow.
support that process, but the
Right.
employees own their own safety. I mean, that's so yes, you really can't go wrong with that kind of approach.
I know Terry, you and I have shared stories. One of the organizations I work with, they flew their craft to one of the VPPA national conferences and said, "You guys spend the whole week there. Come back and tell us if we should pursue it." And I'm thinking the amount of money they invested for the craft to go down there, travel cost, labor cost, and they candidly left the decision up to the craft and all the task level people if they should pursue certification, just like you said, that they wanted to demonstrate they truly wanted those individuals to own the program.
Yes, it really is something that once you get the employee buy-in, and then I once they start working, I just call it feeding the beast. So I just want you just want to give the employees what they need, whether it's simple things like paint or what or this or some training or PPE, and then they'll just pretty much run with it, and the results are phenomenal. Safety performance, from what we've looked at, improves almost automatically because immediately because you're talking about safety at the dare I say grassroots level, or where the actual work is occurring. And so people and the employees feel empowered to start looking at things, have conversations. We know we've always done it this way for 20 years, but maybe we should look at doing it another way, or a safer way. And the employees constantly at NuStar surprise me with the innovative safety practices and procedures and things they come up with. Things I would have never even thought of, they have implemented, right? And so
Excellent. And I got to give you a chance to brag. If I'm correct, NuStar has more than just one VPP star site. Is that accurate, sir?
yes, it is. Thank you. Yeah, we actually have 31 star sites across the country. And that represents about 63 of our facilities. And it really is phenomenal. And our CEO and our chairman of the board actually have committed that we will have all of our sites in the STAR program. So
Really?
we
Wow.
we are actively working with all of them to get them all in. And so we're hopeful to get to 100% here soon. And but it's just like anything else. It's that leadership,
Yes.
and so the employees know. It's interesting because our CEO has this analogy. He says, "You can blindfold me and put me in the middle of any work site, and then take the blindfold off, and I'll know within a matter of minutes if that is a VPP star site or not."
Really?
And yes, he's
Wow.
very much engaged. He understands VPP, the principles, and what it means. The
Perfect.
personal caring and sharing philosophy that goes along with it. And so,
Beautiful.
very fortunate in that regard.
Excellent. Tell you, before we go to commercial break, I always like, especially individuals like yourself, you've been at this a while, you have a lot of passion with it. Who was influential early in your career that sent you on this trajectory where you've truly become viewed as one of the best in the world of safety in the United States?
Well, I appreciate the kind words. There's been a host of folks that have really supported me over the years. I think the biggest one from a VPP standpoint would be Mike Maddox, who was the previous chairperson and executive director. And then I've been very fortunate to really have three outstanding professionals kind of take me under their wing. Ladies from Colleen Krause to Debbie Menzel to Rebecca Zambati from the first work site that I had. They were very instrumental in giving me and not only showing me the path, but giving me the confidence that I needed to go forward. And I will tell you, as I continue to move forward, it's just amazing the great people we have at the association. Through a challenge of Mr. Maddox in the early 2000s, I did not really want to do this, but I'll say it with a little liquid courage, if I'm allowed to say that. He challenged me to meet everybody at a VPPA conference, and we were in Dallas. And so I sat at the bottom of the escalators and just stuck my hand out and said, "Hi, I'm Terry Schulte, and I'm glad to meet you." And I will tell you, we still have friends to this day. I still know people from those early 2000s.
Yes.
And so that's what this is about, right, Mike? So
Absolutely. And I think if I remember correctly, I was one of the first guys to shake your hand at the bottom of the escalator.
I think it was. I think you are. Yes, sir. So, yeah, it was very good.
And a little truth telling here as well. I had the pleasure of serving on the board of directors for Region 9 with Terry, and you did a yeoman's job hurting all these people. Because anybody's been around me, I get so wound up about positive safety culture and VPP, I can end up with the attention span of a gerbil. And Terry, you did a great job keeping between the rails we could actually help succeed where the board needed to go.
Well, Mike, you were a great addition to the Region 9 board. We loved the time that you were there.
You
You
know,
were instrumental in helping us, kind of take some step changes. Me and you had a lot of conversations with that. So really appreciate your, not only your passion and commitment, but your technical expertise with that as well. So thank you for everything you've done for the VPPA with the Region 9 for sure.
well, it's definitely my pleasure. And if you haven't figured out by now, the BPP becomes a big giant family. Nobody go away. We're going to take a short break. We're going to be right back, and we're going to be talking about the true value of VPP and why I'm highly confident everybody wants to embrace it. We'll be right back.
Safety Culture Strategies provides world-class safety culture and safety program management consultative services for clients throughout the United States. Whether your company is pursuing Voluntary Protection Program STAR designation, ISO 45001 certification, or considering a comprehensive review of your current safety programs and processes, Safety Culture Strategies brings hands-on experience combined with a unique perspective that readily translates from senior management to task-level personnel. This collective skill set provides you with a very insightful health check of your overall safety management system that can also assist with reducing injuries and attrition, as well as increasing profitability. Safety Culture Strategies is also certified to provide Ziegler Institute employee engagement training and leadership coaching. When combined with established relationships with federal and state regulators, Safety Culture Strategies is uniquely positioned to assist the safety culture efforts of any company. For additional information, visit www.scstrat.com or call us at 702-780-1410. After all, every company has a safety culture, but is it the culture you want?
Okay, this becomes really fun because everybody asks me, goes, Mike, that's such a great tagline. Every company's had a safety culture, is the culture you want. And I said, well, thank you. And also, then a lot of the questions is, well, where do I want to start? Where would I like to get to? What should my trajectory, what should my end state look like? And Terry, we're going to pull you back up on screen because this,
Sure.
the way I see this, VPP is such a amazing fit, like fingers in a glove, to be able to support a positive safety culture.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And sometimes you need to really get the people that wouldn't necessarily you want to be engaged initially, but start having those conversations. Those people that are kind of shying away from the safety to group or the VPP initiatives, you may want to go just talk to them and say, hey, why is that? I will tell you, a lot of times what you find is those are the most passionate people who want to do the right thing, but first for maybe some reason they feel like their voice hasn't been heard, or they feel like maybe something they brought up years ago was never addressed right, so they just kind of walked away from the whole effort. And you start engaging them in supporting them, even if it is just to legitimize the item that they're bringing forward. You will see a great change and a great a transition. It's interesting, a lot of times with VPP, we talk about various signals. And so, housekeeping is probably one of the biggest things I can talk about, because housekeeping doesn't really indicate the housekeeping of the site. What it really indicates is how good of a culture you have in your facility, right?
Absolutely correct.
And so, if you have a dirty floor or dirty shop or dirty workspace, it really indicates that the employees aren't committed, don't have the time or whatever to clean it up. And equally with the management, right? So you just don't have that culture. So I will tell you, by starting with those people that you may not necessarily want to talk to, but you should talk to, you'll get that change of a positive safety culture, and it'll be lasting. And that's the true benefit of VPP for me is is the sustainability of the positive safety culture.
Excellent. So real briefly, can you talk about VPPA in general? And I think I'm pronouncing all those P's in there together, and just give us a little insight. Because I get so excited about this as the national conference, because it is by far the most enthusiastic group I've ever seen as far as people that carry the tools for a living, how they've really become engaged in safety, and they can't wait to tell you about it at a national conference.
No, I appreciate that. And just I'll start off with saying for anybody who'd like to know more about what VPP is and what the V3PA, as some people have called it, is we did a next level safety virtual event a couple of weeks ago. So you can go to our website at VPPPA.org and you can actually see some of those presentations. We were very humbled and excited to have the Deputy Assistant Secretary of Labor and Mr. Hart from the Metal Trades Union to kick us off there. And we had a bunch of OSHA presentations, but it was great to kind of get together, although virtually, with everyone again. And then, as you alluded to, this August, the last week of August, we will be having a hybrid event in Nashville, Tennessee, and we've already had a lot of folks from our community say they really want to go in person. But if you can't attend in person, then by all means, love to have you attend virtually as well. But the networking that comes out of that, the just learning through osmosis. I've learned more during the lunch hours there than I've been anywhere, right?
Yes.
Talking with people, right? So it's just a great event, and we really look forward to it every year.
And the other thing that really strikes me, I got to be candid, is there will be the little mixers in the evening, and you gather somewhere. The members of the board at the national level go out of their way to engage with everybody. I mean, it's really open. People want to share information, and the board members, including yourself, you really look forward to learning what others have to say.
Yes, I mean, and that's kind of the tenet of VPP is our network. And I've been doing this for quite a while, but when I go and I talk to even new members or first time attendees to our conference, I will learn something from them, and always something to pick up. We never stop learning, as they say, and that's the beauty of VPP. Particularly, as OSHA will remind us all, VPP is about continuous improvement. So you've never quote unquote arrived at safety excellence. You must always continuous improve, and I've really found that the annual conference is a way for me to grab those 3, 4, 5 different nuggets, if you will, to continuously improve the processes that we have, for sure. And so it's been interesting.
Been interesting. So I'm going to offer something up here. We'll kind of set up a question, if you will. And you might have done this a few times in your career, Mr. Schulte. So you've been speaking to a large group in the huge auditorium in Nashville, wherever it is. You've got the C-suite people there. You got the senior safety people. Maybe you probably got some VPP people or wannabe VPP people. So at the end of your 45 minutes, since you got your Q&A, and you get this rounding ovation, they ask for encores, balloons are in the air. See, I'm setting it up really good for you, Terry. So,
thank you.
So when you leave and they finish the balance of the conference, what's 2 or 3, maybe even 4 things that hopefully they take back home after listening to you?
So hopefully they know, number one, that they have a board and a network, a community, if you will, that is there to support them. That can really assist with whatever they need. VPP companies span all different industries, all different trades, and one thing that we have is the caring and sharing model. So if I have a program, like a lockout tagout program that you feel you could use, it's yours. I will share it with you because there is no competition in safety. And so that's the first thing. The second thing, please know that we do offer mentorship. So don't be afraid to call. Don't be afraid to, hey, I'm really not sure how this works. We provide a whole host of those services and are here to support that. The third thing is we are a resource for you. And if we don't have the technical answer, it's a partnership with OSHA, so we can get you that technical answer pretty quickly, and with a reliable source to back it up, to give you that kind of guidance if you're having any questions. And then lastly, it is just that support network, and even going to fellow sites, and helping them with reviews, with whatever they need for VPP. So, just having that support network there, I think is really, really critical and essential for anybody who wants to, even if they're not looking to achieve VPP, but they want to be the best they can be in safety. I think having that network behind you or being part of that can certainly help you achieve that.
Those are great takeaways from you being on stage. And one of the viewers I want viewers to pick up on is that reference you made, the relationship with OSHA, which I think is exceptionally powerful. When we would go to the national conferences, there'd be breakout sessions. You would have representatives from the local OSHA regions talking about different topics. You can approach your OSHA representative, because a lot of companies, I gotta be candid, Terry, they view OSHA like the IRS, right? You don't want to talk to them, you don't want to send them an email. But I've always found, and course correct me here as needed, just like any organization, if you can start building a relationship with them. So if you do have that unseen event occur, which is horrific at times, that you're calmly on a little better footing than if you never reached out to them at all.
No, I couldn't agree more. Having that rapport and relationship, a positive one, up front, is very beneficial for VPP sites, and in a variety of ways. Yes, I've had those conversations with some companies that you're actually going to invite OSHA into your facility. You're doing what, right? And so that's true. And so, but doing that, you really do have that dialogue, and it's interesting because there has been recent talk about regulations that may be coming out, and what the new administration is going to be looking at, and for VPP star sites, that's fine. As part of our premise, as you well know, we meet the intent of the OSHA regulation, not the definition. Right. So so that's really when you're in that kind of a upper echelon of programming, then no problem.
You're right on target. As I've shared with organizations, VPP is more than just mere compliance. You are truly choosing to excel. Kind of summarize what we've been talking about. I like the analogy, Terry, of the car and the driver. You could have the best race car in the universe, but if you put someone in there who doesn't even know how to operate a 4-speed, it might prove to be very difficult. And I really like the analogy, you guys, something you embrace. Sharing is caring. This is always an ongoing journey, and there truly can't be any competition in safety to where everybody wants to help everybody else. So real quick, before we say goodbye, I know we have a lot of the C-suite people that view the show. Thank you for joining us. So Terry, what's the first step that they should take to learn more about VPP?
Well, I would start by, you can look us up at VPPPA.org. And we can certainly get you in touch with the correct OSHA people. We have links to the VPP program. You could go to the OSHA website for VPP as well. There are state plan states, so they may direct you. So that's why I usually tell people start with the VPPPA.org, and they can help you navigate that state plan versus federal program. And we offer a whole host of workshops, application workshops,
There you go.
recertification workshops, mentoring to help you along your journey as well.
And so you kind of set me up. I've recently helped a lot of organizations with their application process, and the learning experience alone into developing a cogent, as I would call it, or cohesive application can be very insightful for the majority of organizations. They realize, oh, we didn't know we had all these cool things going on, or hey, here's something we think we want to tune up just a little bit to have it perform that much better.
Yes, I would agree. There's a lot of things, and certainly, Mike, and with your experience and expertise, you're certainly a good guy to help somebody fill out an application for sure.
We appreciate that, brother. Believe it or not, we're at the end of the show, and again, look at that sharing and caring. And I'm going to take that analogy of having a great car, but you got to have the right driver with the skill sets, properly trained and confident to do their job, and know they have management behind them to get the maximum that you can out of that vehicle. Terry Schulte, we cannot thank you enough. You're the VPP dude, in my humble opinion. If you go to Wikipedia and say, who's the VPP dude? I know Terry Schulte picture is going to come up. Thank you again, boss. It was a true hoot to be with you. And everybody that's viewing us this week, please do me a personal favor and check out VPP and VPPA.org. Until next time, enjoy your safety culture journey. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like what we're doing, and you have a safe time. Goodbye for now.